Welcome to another edition of Versus, and this time we're going to be comparing the definitive edition of Grand Theft Auto 3 with the PS2 slash PS4 edition. There's been a lot of shit flinging with this particular model or game, and I wanted to kind of highlight the positives in there. You know, it's weird when you see things on the internet where just people just consistently just will shit on something to jump on the bandwagon to be popular. But I have no major issues with it. I know there are major issues, and I guess the Grove Street gang are actually going to address a lot of these particular issues. But I'm going to highlight a lot of the things that people aren't talking about. So let's begin. The biggest controversy that we have here with the definitive edition is textures. It seems like the developers have actually, and let me preface the conversation by saying that it is not actually Rockstar. It is an offshoot or a hired gun, if you will. Grove Street, I don't know what the fuck to call them. Some Grove Street. But either way, they use an AI upscaler to, basically handle. I think they said somewhere along the lines of 100,000 textures across all three games. So it's a daunting task. And what they wanted to do is just to not really mess up the art style. They kind of ended up doing it anyway because of the models. And honestly, the art style was very cartoony anyway. You could tell by the box art and whatnot. But the route that they went for, the textures kind of lends itself to be a little bit more realistic. But here, as you can see, it is clearly in order of magnitude higher res than what we've gotten on a PS2 or fucking PC copies there. A lot of people won't admit this, but the thing is honestly, it's going to be a lot higher res. It is a very good looking resolution that they actually hit here. I mean, you can see it for yourself. It speaks for itself. Another thing that tends to be overlooked is the lighting in the game. Not only do they have screen space, reflections for puddles and things of that nature. I know there's probably some PC mods. I don't know. I don't have a PC to do gaming, and if I did, I don't really care about it. Some people are going to debate this, but whatever. There are a lot of dynamic lights in the game, including the lightning rather. The day and night cycles are actually correct with the sun's placement. That's a big thing that people are not talking about, which is unfortunate. Tail lights, they should be on. They're not. I know a lot of outlets have definitely expressed their issues with it. But yeah, but you do have cabin lights, as you can see in this portion of the video. You can definitely see the cabin lights. Everything has shadows. Everything that the headlights actually bump into, they're going to be shadowed, which is really, really cool, really cool. Really, the reflections from the glass is a big thing too, because you can see your character, you can see the headlights, you can actually see the lighting, the glint off of the sun, off of the fucking windows. It shines in that particular regards. It's pretty cool stuff. Really cool. Here's where the bullshit begins, and it's actually the character models. They took a different approach when it came to the character models. They literally, I believe they have an AI upscaler as well, where it can look at the textures and tell where the dents are and recede those or see where the height is. So you got a lot of rounded characters that doesn't really work well with the animation rigs that they had back in the PS2 days. But they are higher res. In my personal opinion, I don't particularly like them. They should really just basically keep the fingers, leave the bodies as they are, the old polygon models, up-res them to to those particular textures, and keep the heads basically. Also, there are clear reflections, screen space reflections in the cars. The car models have been updated just a bit, so there's more rounded for the tires and whatnot. So they have things going on there. It's pretty cool. The actual NPCs and your main character is probably going to be the biggest point of contention when it comes to this game. But yeah, I'll let it speak for itself. Next, we have foliage, grass, trees, and things of that nature. A lot of people don't talk about this, but the grass actually moves. Grass and leaves actually moves according to characters walking through it or in it. So that's a pretty big win. They're obviously a lot higher resolution. I think they pulled some assets from the newer Grand Theft Autos, especially when it comes to San Andreas. They did things of that nature, so that's really, really cool. Yeah, the grass, as you can clearly see, you can actually depress and move those things. The trees are not 2D cutouts anymore, which is a big plus. It's a huge plus. That may affect the actual driving, because I know a lot of the times you could have drove through certain wooded areas and you would just drive through the trees because they were 2D sprites. But for what it's worth, they are definitely 3D here. And this is the results that you get. I mean, honestly, I would say that the biggest problem with this game is the character models and then performance. As long as they nail those two things down, they want to kill it. But I already talked about the character models. One thing that is a downgrade is the fact that, there's no debris on the ground. There's no leaves in terms of that you can move. Because I know when the wind kicked up, you can see like newspapers and the leaves and things of that nature. They have leaves in the new Grand Theft Auto or this definitive edition, but they are static and they are randomly placed, but they don't align with the ground themselves, so you'll see them float. I'm sure there's plenty of videos out there. Now, it was a disappointment. I'm not gonna lie to you. They should have done better. Be better. But we're gonna move on to the next topic here. The particles that are in the game have been overhauled. I guess that was a part of the initiative to upscale the game's textures and whatnot, because that's what a particle is, always facing the screen texture, if you will. But the smoke, the fire, is just leaps and bounds over it. You still got tire marks. You still can. I don't know about the blood. I'll take a look at that at a later date. But this is the videos that I do have. You can leave tire marks. You can burn out. You can. I know if you park your car and backwards into the water, you get the bubbles. Those things are still apparent. There's ripples. All of those things, splashes and stuff like that, all of those things are particle systems. Not only are their explosions actually better looking, but they create light and shadows. So that is big news. One of the biggest concerns with the day and night cycles in the sky and things of that nature is that the fog is missing for the most part. It's there, but it's not ever present like it was in the other games because it had to hide like the deficiencies of the game. But we're talking about the day and night cycles here. One of the things that a lot of people do not talk about is the cloud system. They are volumetric, fully volumetric, completely interactive with the sun and the moon, and then they will look different. So there's fully volumetric clouds there, which is big stuff. They're not particles that they have there or cutouts or sprites or anything of that nature. And they look beautiful, honestly. They look awesome. So you can clearly see how they rearrange in the sky through the day and night cycle. That's always awesome. Yeah, take a look there. And then lastly, we have draw distance. Draw distance. The biggest fucking problem with this remaster, I should say. Let me say that again. Remaster is the draw distance. It is too fucking far. It is too far. You can see there's nothing. Because in actuality, if you're looking at something, if you're looking at something way far in the distance, what you're looking at and you is separated by millions of billions of air molecules, which will distort the color and distort just your viewpoint. Essentially, it makes a lot of things look pale in comparison, and it gets heavier the farther you look out. In this game, you don't have that. But I will say this: the level of detail management. I mean, even though this game is 20 years old, it's handled as you would expect. It just renders every fucking thing. I mean, you still have a level of detail in there, so if you look really closely, you can break the illusion. But you don't get these jarring pops and locks that you get with the PS2 version. I mean, that really put a damper on San Andreas, which I may do in the future in terms of a video. But this is the draw distance. And we have also come to the end of this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I really would appreciate it. Yo, let me know what's going on with this video. Let me know if you liked it or not. I try to keep it as short as possible, and I think I managed it. But peace out.